I'm Watson Dorn with Hickory Hill Milk. Today I'd like to tell you a little bit about our farm, our family, and our milk products. The farm's been in our family since 1764, and I'm the 10th generation on this farm. About 70 years ago, my grandparents started the dairy. Then my father came back from the Navy in 1956, and he expanded the dairy and started milking more cows. In 1984, when I finished Clemson University, I came back to the farm and made more expansions. And then in 2016, my son Daniel became the 4th generation on the dairy and the 11th generation on the farm. Today we milk about 120 cows in a robotic facility that we'll show you a little bit later. About 12 years ago, my wife Lisa and I decided to build a bottling plant and go directly to the consumer. We've been very blessed in the business over the last 12 years and have had the opportunity to put our milk in a lot of different locations. We'll talk a little bit later about why our milk is different and why it's a more sustainable product. Now we're going to talk about a little bit why Hickory Hill milk is different than the rest of the milk you see in the supermarket. First, our milk is all natural, vat pasteurized, and non-homogenized. I'll explain a little bit about that. All natural, in my opinion, is a lot better than organic because we treat our cows humanely. And if they have an infection that needs to be treated with antibiotics, we give that cow antibiotics and dump her milk down the drain until her milk is tested free of any antibiotics. That way we have a healthy cow and no antibiotic residue. We've all had children that had ear infections, and we've had infections ourselves. Can you imagine not being able to treat an animal with antibiotics and let them suffer through? If you're truly organic, you never treat that cow with antibiotics, and to me that's inhumane. So we're all natural milk product. We're also pasture raised and grass fed. As you can see behind me, these cows, we harvest all the grass and all the feeds and bring it to the cows. The cows are a lot healthier that way because they don't have to go out and harvest their own forages. We bring it to them. This new barn that we built about a year ago, the cows stay in the barn, they have access to feed, water, they can walk, they can exercise, they can set their own schedules. So the cows really like this barn. A little bit about the milk. I mentioned non-homogenized, low-temp pasteurized. Let's talk a little bit about pasteurization. There's 3 different methods that you can pasteurize milk. We use a low temperature vat pasteurization, which means we heat the milk to 145 degrees and maintain it for 30 minutes. The low temperature vat pasteurization method kills the harmful bacteria, but it preserves the good enzymes and the beneficial bacteria that naturally occur in milk. We've all seen the commercials about Activia and the good digestive probiotics that is helpful to your system. That's in our milk because we use vat pasteurization to preserve those enzymes. Most of the milk that you see in the supermarket today is high temp pasteurized. They go to 175 degrees, which is 30 degrees hotter than we do, and it passes through a tube for 15 seconds. Time is money. The big milk plants will not wait 30 minutes to do what we do to preserve that beneficial bacteria. They're killing the harmful bacteria, but they're also killing the beneficial bacteria. The third type pasteurization, which most of your organic milks use, is ultra high temp. Ultra high temp was developed for the military so it would have a long shelf life. Basically everything in the milk has been killed so nothing's left in it to grow. That's why you have a long shelf life. They go to 200 degrees for 2 seconds. That's low temp, high temp, and ultra high temp. We use the low temp pasteurization. Now let's talk about homogenization. That's a totally separate process. Back in the 1930s, the United States and Europe started homogenizing milk. There's only one reason why that was started. It's so you do not have to shake the milk. Ours is referred to as the old-fashioned cream line milk because the cream rises to the top in our milk. We've all heard the saying, the good stuff rises to the top, the cream rises to the top. We do not homogenize our milk because when you homogenize it, you put it under extreme pressure, about 4,000 pounds per square inch, and it makes the fat molecule and the sugar molecule explode. And I've referred to it as taking a bowling ball and exploding it into BBs. That's why the cream doesn't rise to the top. The problem with that is Your body doesn't recognize that sugar as a sugar, and it doesn't know how to handle it because it's been broken down so small. That's what makes people lactose intolerant. Over the last 12 years, since we do not homogenize our milk, we've not had one single person that's lactose intolerant that had any issues whatsoever with our milk. That's why we don't homogenize. In Europe, they homogenized milk for about 10 to 15 years, and they stopped because they knew the cream line milk is better.
Welcome to Hickory Hill Farm. My name is Daniel Dorn, and today we're going to take a look at our robotic milking facility and how we milk cows here, and how we get from the cow to the jug to you. So the first thing we're going to look at is the cow comes in. She comes in on her own. It's completely voluntary now with these robots. The cows walk in, and the first thing it'll do is it will clean her teeth. So that's what it's doing right now. It'll take the wash cup and it'll go to each teat. It'll swirl wash water around each one and make sure they're clean before we attach the milking cup. There's a camera there on the end of the arm that can see what it's attaching to, and it knows where each teat is. The next step we're going to look at is the attaching of the milking cups. So the cows have 4 teats. There's 4 milking cups. Each one will go on a specific teat. The camera will see that, and it'll go right up on there and attach with vacuum suction. As the cow moves, the arm will move with it. So as she's now set up, she will milk. When she milks completely out of milk, each of the hoses will come off one at a time. On our monitor here, we can see each step that the robot performs, and we can also see how much milk each cow produces and how much out of each teat she produces. The total amount is down here. We have the cow's number here, and we have the vacuum level here. So we can see a lot of different things on here. We can see different things like the cow's gate position, the wash information. You can see the cow's specific information for each individual cow here on her information page. So we can see a lot of things from the monitor here. Here we have the living facility that the cows live in. They are free to come and go as they please and to lay in any of these beds. These beds are bedded with sand. It's a very clean bedding. It doesn't harbor bacteria like other beddings do. The cows have access to feed and water all in here 24 hours a day, and they can pick and choose what bed they lay in. This whole entire barn was designed around cow comfort. So a cow wants to be as comfortable as possible, as much time in the day as she possibly can, just like we do. So we provide that with these beds. We provide that with the fans you see in here when it's hot. We have misters over there on the feed lane side that help cool them off in the summertime as well. And we flush these lanes out here where the cows walk to keep them nice and clean as well. Here we have our feed lane. As you can see, these cows have access to feed all the time. We mix about 20,000 pounds of feed every day for these cows. They eat about 90 pounds per cow per day. Like I said earlier, cow comfort's the number one thing that we think about here, the number one reason why we built this facility. So here we have our cow brush. As you can see, the cows are scratching their behind on it. They like to scratch their back, scratch their neck, scratch their head. It all is conducive to cow comfort, and that's what we strive for every day here. Happy cows make good milk and make more milk. So that's good for us and good for you.